how do I start this? How do I really truly start this? First of all, yeah, I wear glasses to read. Second, many people at art fairs that I go to in the Kansas City area have asked me about various other things that they would like to know, um, such as things that happen on the trips. Well, I've always done trip write-ups in a blog on my website. So what's the next step? The next step would be to shoot some video while on location, try to talk on location about my thought processes of the photography and what I'm doing, where I'm at, respecting the locations that I go to and my wife go to, and trying to communicate that love of those locations and the respect that we give to other people, so that if they go there, they respect the location as well. We try to follow a principle of leave no trace, leave only footprints, take only photographs and memories. And we try to convey that to anyone else that would go with us on a location trip. Quite frequently, I get upset by seeing locations trashed and graffitied and, left in a worse case scenario, or worse off than when those people got there. So I try to edit those thoughts out of video. This is going to be the first video series that I've done. I have not done video since back in college, which was, well, I'm not going to tell you because I don't want to date myself that easily. So a little bit about myself. I've got a undergraduate degree in communication arts. It's a Bachelor of Science degree from what is now Park University in Parkville, Missouri. I concentrated mainly in radio. I did video in college as well. And I also took almost enough classes to be a photojournalist. So that's my background from an artistic point of view. More recently, after doing several trips with my wife and her finally grabbing a camera, she talked me into going to the Kansas City Art Institute to do a continuing ed certificate in photographic arts, which all those instructors seem to think, why is he here? Well, my wife wanted somebody she knew in the classes, so I went with her. That's my educational background. I've been doing photography on and off since I was a little kid. I was the kid in grade school that ran around with the camera and got all the back of the yearbook photos. So photography's always been a passion of mine, and I love to share that passion. And more recently, in the past few years, I've started doing fine art shows, some of which I've done rather well at. From a jury point of view, financially, they're a lot of work, and they do cost money to get into. So while doing those shows, people have asked me to, if I do trainings or workshops and stuff. So that's something that I'm thinking about. If you're questioning that and you put a comment down there, that'd be nice to know, because I've taught other people a variety of things, from audio editing to video editing and photography. So it wouldn't be that big of a leap. If there's interest in it, I will consider doing some workshops. They'd be small workshops, no more than 5 people at a time. So basically, this is the first video series that I've done in a long time. It's the first time I've been on camera, talking to a camera. I'm usually the guy behind the camera or cameras, video or stills wise. I like to say I have a face for radio because I used to be on the radio here in Kansas City. My love is photography, and I want to share it with you. And in this series, we're going to travel along the Pacific Northwest coast from Seattle to San Francisco. And it's going to be quite interesting because this is the first time that I've done video out in the field in a long time. So in some areas, there's going to be a lot of B-roll in this. I'll just be honest. There's going to be a lot of B-roll. There's going to be a couple spots where I talk to out on location, and there's going to be one video which actually shows what I really wanted this series to be. But due to the equipment that I was using to film on location and the time constraints that we had, because we were going from point to point to point along the coast and not staying in one place for any length of time, it just didn't happen. So when I got back and I reviewed the videos and reviewed the photos from the trip, which I've got several gorgeous photos and locations to talk about throughout this series, I just felt that if I was going to continue doing video, it needed to be easier for me. Something that was quick, easy, and second nature, just like the photography is. When I walk up on a location, I would look for my compositions. I figure out what compositions I want. And you know, sometimes you get to a location that you've seen online, you've heard about, and there's only one composition, and it's been shot to death. So I don't necessarily love those compositions, but you know what? Those are the ones that people want. Those are the ones that you can sell a print for, generally speaking. I've had no problem with those selling. Those sell fast. Some of my own personal composition favorites have also sold well. So I generally will take the shot that everybody else has taken. I'll try to put a little bit of a twist on it. They'll change in the composition. And then I'll walk around and try to find something that is more artistically me. And that's the thing, to figure out your artistic voice and vision and how to represent that in your work, right? So this series started out in Seattle, and unfortunately, Seattle is a really populated city, and I had nerves, I'll be honest. I had nerves about talking to a camera in that much population in those areas, and quite frankly, I was after the photographs. I knew 3 photographs that I definitely wanted. I had a list of 5. And I was able to accomplish the 3 that I definitely wanted. So this video, I'm going to talk about those real quick. And then in future videos, we'll talk about the other locations and what I liked and what I didn't like. And I believe in 2 videos out, you'll see more of my intent of what I want to do video-wise. And just join me for the ride and the experience, and sit back and enjoy. And if you got any questions or feedback, leave it below. I'm going to say this now, and I'll say it at the end of the video. If you like the video, subscribe. If you want to see more content from me, subscribe, hit the bell, like the video. So with that said, let's get into the photos for this week here. So the first one that I've got is shot from Gasworks Park in Seattle. And it's an ultra-wide format pano. I love doing these. They're a challenge to print. They generally print better on canvas because you can customize the canvas size. So it's taken down near Union Lake. I'll tell you that. It's a city park, and you can get this gorgeous light almost any time of day. I loved it with clouds, and it's an ultra wide pano. It's just insane. I love doing them. It's one of my things. Okay. So the other thing that I'm going to do from time to time in this is this first grouping. You're only going to see one behind the scenes shot. So normally you'll see a behind the scenes shot of what I was doing with my camera, and you'll probably, most times, 9 times out of 10, you'll see an image on the back of the camera of what the shot is. Okay. So this next image that I took while in Seattle was the stereotypical Cary Park overlook shot. And here again, it's a pano, it's a panoramic. And the one thing that stunk that I really wish would have been better, but you can't control the weather, so you have to deal with what you have on location, especially when you're a travel fine art photographer. Okay, so it was a fairly cloudy day, so I couldn't get the shot I wanted. The shot I wanted was the Space Needle, downtown skyline, and off in the distance, Mount Rainier. The few mornings that we were in Seattle, every morning was that way. I tried every morning to get the one shot. And I know that if you live in a location like Seattle, you have more opportunities to shoot that shot than somebody who's traveling to Seattle to shoot that shot. So that would be easier if you live there. With that being said, I still love the shot. It's shot just before sunrise. You've got light reflecting off the clouds. You've got some breaks in the clouds off to the west, so you've got some blue hour hue coming through in the background. It's one of my favorite shots, but it's not my favorite shot from Seattle. My favorite shot from Seattle is one that I titled Rivers of Light, Seattle. It's shot from where Interstate 5 and Interstate 90 come together, and it is a wide aspect pano with light trails and morning blue hour. It is just gorgeous. It's one of my favorite shots. If you zoom in close in one area, there's a red line shooting up, or shooting vertically through the shot, and it's a drone. Somebody was flying a drone that day, so I got rivers of light, and I got a light trail going up into the sky, which I feel is kind of unique. But it's my favorite shot from Seattle. It really is. It was a good morning that morning, and that was our last morning in Seattle. And there again, we ran up to Cary Park to try to shoot that epic shot of Mount Rainier with the Seattle skyline in the background, and just wasn't meant to be, at least not on this trip. With that being said, that concludes the first episode of the Pacific Northwest Coastal Road Trip. Next time, we're going to be in Olympia, the state capital of Washington. Something you need to know about me is I'm a fanatic about state capitals. If I'm near one being a relative term, within a few hours of one, I will take a side trip just to get a photograph of that state capital, because every one of them is unique, and there are 50 of them. So it's kind of a little side project that I do. So next time we're going to be in Olympia, where we had gorgeous cherry blossoms and the state capital of the state of Washington. So tune in for next time, and if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you didn't, give it a thumbs down. You got any comments about the video, critiques, anything, any feedback? I know I'm going to get some haters, because I haven't done this in a long time, and it's going to take some time for me to get used to doing it. Leave the comments below, like, subscribe, hit the bell, and we'll see you next time.